Children's Playground. Hooray!
This is the Black Lives Don't Matter podcast. That's what I said. Black lives don't matter. What kind of up podcast is this? Black lives don't matter? Really? Man, who is this dude? Black guy? Wait, so a black man got a podcast called Black Lives Don't Matter. I done seen it all now. Maybe this is what it takes. Time to shine the light on all the times black life didn't matter. Listen up. Let's get down with this. Because if black lives really mattered, we wouldn't need a movement. Now would we? Talk your truth, brother.
Hey folks, what's up? Welcome back to the program. I'm your host, Darren Harris. I'm having a problem, man. I'm having a problem down here in the state of Florida with the school board. If you're a black person like me, just go ahead and say it like that. If you're a black person like me, you should have a problem with it too. My wife woke up this morning and she was reading an article. And again, it just woke me up out of my sleep. What the hell are you talking about? So in the state of Florida, apparently is what has happened. Florida schools are now teaching students that black people benefited from slavery because it taught them skills that they could use to advance to this day. Like they did us some sort of favor by enslaving a whole race of people for 400 years. Like they were some sort of savior, like they gave us something. Like thank God that we came along and enslaved you. Otherwise, you would not have had those skills. You couldn't have acquired those skills had you not been enslaved. So, quite frankly, you benefited from slavery. That's some bullshit ass ideology. That's some bullshit and dangerous shit to be teaching kids in school. It really is. And they're doing it on purpose. They do it on purpose. And the nerve they have just to justify enslavement. That shows that they're still not willing, or really just don't want to acknowledge any wrongdoing at all. The whole white savior complex all over again. The whole, we are not guilty of anything. We're not guilty of anything. In the past year, Florida schools have banned 357 books between July and December. In 2022, that is. You know what that did? It cut off valuable information and content to the people who it really matters to the most. And not only did it do that, it taught lies. It's now teaching lies to children in school. They're teaching lies to our children in school, folks. That pisses me off. And I don't want to get so pissed off. I usually get pissed off in these episodes, and by the end of the episode, I'm usually screaming, but I don't want to get like that. I want to try to hold this so that I can get this message out. Because I want to articulate this. Now, they said that they benefited, or our people, African Americans, benefited from slavery. I just want to know how we benefited. How did we benefit from rape? How did we benefit from that? How did we benefit from you, the slave master, raping these women in front of their husbands in a lot of cases, their entire families, raping these women brutally. I don't want to get upset. How did we benefit from the brutality, the deliberate and the constant brutality? How did we benefit from that? What was the benefit from that? How do we benefit from having our blood spilled all over this land? The murder. I mean, how do we benefit from that? How did we benefit from families being torn apart? In a lot of cases, not even ever seeing these people. Most cases, not seeing these people, not seeing your family, your children ever again. Well, these people had no second thought. How did we benefit from that? How did those people benefit? How did we benefit from buck breaking? If you don't know what buck breaking is, folks, buck breaking was a practice that was used to emasculate the black male. And to a degree, it's being modernized. The buck breaking of the American male. And really what it was is the slave masters would sodomize or have another sodomize the black men in front of their families, their children, and their wives, to emasculate them in front of their families and their peers. It was called, they would tie them down, they would strap them down. A lot of times the most masculine, the big ones, to show that they had power over them. And they would rape these men. How did we benefit from that? Huh? See, that's a piece of history that a lot of people don't know. There's a what? Buck breaking? What's buck breaking? Yeah. It's ridiculous. We benefited, but honestly, why do you think people would risk their lives to escape slavery if they were benefiting from slavery? Do you people think, honestly, that a motherfucker would risk his life if he was benefiting from some shit? And just so you know, just take this into account. If white men are writing and teaching our students about the black experience of slavery, then just know that what you receive from these men will be completely inaccurate, extremely flawed, one-sided, with lies that make them seem like they are moral, upstanding men of God. They will continue to justify the bondage. They will continue to disregard the brutality. They will continue to disregard the rape and the murder all the way up until right now. Okay, folks, this is what needs to happen. We need to start educating our children at home. I've already said this. We need to start educating our children at home. It is quite obvious. It is quite obvious that the educational system in this country, and more specifically in this state, are quite broken. I mean, completely broken. It's crazy. And I take offense to this. And the reason, I take really serious offense to this. And the reason why is because our history and our heritage is not something to just be written and rewritten like some sort of Hollywood script or some sort of novel or story. Horrible and unspeakable shit happened, and no matter how much? No amount of whitewashing, no amount of storytelling, no amount of yarn spinning. None of that shit will ever be able to justify the forced bondage of another human being that was inflicted. And yes, I will say inflicted by the white race. No lie, no cover-up, no legislation will ever take that away, just so y'all know. I mean, for real, honestly, who the fuck do you think you are to rewrite our history? To make you comfortable? Like I said, I don't want to become angry. But I will say this. Slavery and all of that shit will always and forever remain the blackest mark. And that's what they're trying to spend in lives, trying to erase that smudge. But it will forever remain the blackest mark in this country's history, whether they want to tell the real story or not. And this action is a painful reminder that we are still looked at as less than human and treated as such by people here. It's crazy because they take away and they diminish everything, what we have created here through our blood, sweat, and tears. They diminish our contributions to the society that they diminish everything that we have built and essentially given them on a silver platter. And they diminish our contribution and they claim it as their own. They claim our hard work as their own. The blood of Africans, and I know this is, if you don't, I don't really like to, but I do think about it like this from time to time. The blood of Africans stain the soils of this country more than any other race. So please, tell me, what is the benefit of that? The Indians suffered a lot. But they were never enslaved like we were. And I'm not trying to diminish what happened to the Indians. Not even a little bit. Because they went through hardship at the hands of the same system. I'm not trying to diminish that at all. But I need people to know what really happened. I need people to understand and internalize what really happened. I don't care if it makes you uncomfortable to hear about. I don't care. Take your kids out of Florida schools, folks. They're going to start teaching them lies and start indoctrinating them into believing what they want them to believe. They're going to, in 1 or 2 generations, strip away the knowledge of their ancestral history. You can't allow that to happen. Take your kids out of school, figure out a way to homeschool them if you have to. But for black people here, or people of color here, there really is no room for you here. So much so that you have people rewriting the history, actual historical fact, to misconstrue, to make people believe and to justify the institution, the evil empire of slavery. I got a suggestion for you guys writing these textbooks for our kids. How about this? Leave the writing about black people and black experience to black people. No group of white people should be in charge of writing about black history. I'm sorry. Especially without any black people being present, because we were there also. You know what I'm saying? So white folks write history like black folks weren't there. Like our accounts about what happened aren't actual accounts about what happened. Think about that for a minute. History is written from a white perspective. Our history is written from a white perspective, which is automatically skewed, automatically flawed, because it does not share our experience accurately. It does not portray, and you can see right now what's happening right now. Right now. You can see what's happening. Our experience here is being written over. And we cannot allow that to happen. We need to stand up. And I say this all the time, and I wonder, when are we actually going to fucking stand up and say something about it? We have got to fight this, folks. Otherwise, we're going to be marginalized even further. Do we care about that? We're going to continue to be relegated to 4th and 5th, 6th class citizens. They want to wipe us. They just don't want us to. They don't want. We can't have nothing. They don't nothing. They don't want us to have any credit for building anything. They want to take all the credit for everything. We brought you here. Luckily, we brought you here because you'd be nothing without us. No, motherfuckers, you got that wrong. You would be nothing without us. You would be nothing without us. And I don't care how many governors of how many of these states want to write laws to set time backwards. And that's all they're doing. They're writing laws to set time backwards. They're really trying to rewrite history. Literally. And like I said, our history ain't some fucking Hollywood script, man. They're literally trying to rewrite our history right under our noses while we just stand by and let them. Are we going to let these people rewrite our history without saying something? These books are banned. 350 some odd books are banned. Now, they claim that some of these books had pornographic images and all kinds of things. No, they were talking about actual people, things that people go through, things that people are, have become. They talk about people's gender. They absolutely do. They teach people why things are happening or what is really going on. What's really going on? What's really going on? That's what they're teaching people. What's really happening in this world. And all those things, all those books, all that information that we had in schools that opened our eyes to things. Those are all now banned in schools. I guess you could get them online and teach your kids, but man, now more than ever, black folks, now more than ever, Jay-Z, I'm going to call you out, homie. Dr. Dre, where you at? Oprah, I know you've done some things, but we need more, girl. You got it like that. Let's get it like that. We need some schools. We cannot wait for the school boards to put schools in our neighborhood to educate our children. We can't wait for that. They're not going to do it. They're never going to do it. They're going to find some other construction project or infrastructure project to take funding away from our communities and reroute to those communities. They're never going to give us our what we're looking for, which is equality, man. We have to take our equality by making our equality. We have to do well in our. I know we've done it before, and I know that every time we do it, just about they figure out some way to destroy it, whether it be violently or with drugs or turning it in on ourselves. They always find a way to sabotage what we build. Anything positive that we build, they are afraid of. And now that we know this, now that we can internalize this, let's use this to empower each other instead of fighting each other. And who are we fighting each other to impress? Them? No. Come on, brothers and sisters out here. It's time, really, man. It really is time to turn around and start really embracing each other for real. Remember who we are. We are people that are grounded in love. We really are people who are grounded in love and admiration and respect and honor. And all of those things have been stripped away from us. We have been demonized for far too long. For way too long have we been demonized by this society and other societies around the world. We have got to start standing up, folks. We have got to get up and wipe our nose off. We got to get rid of the motherfuckers in our own society ourselves that are hurting our cause, that are hurting our betterment. Those are the people that are ultimately hurting. Once we get those kinks out, I believe there's nothing that can stand in our way. I don't care anybody. I don't care if anybody. I think that, like I said, we deserve, and I believe, and I know that we deserve to have our place on the world stage as our own people, just like everybody else, just like everyone else. We deserve to be respected on whatever stage, on whatever block, in whatever neighborhood, in whatever restaurant. I don't care where we go. We need to be treated like we are significant, and more than significant, like we are equal. Our history is rich. We are a resilient people. Quite possibly the most resilient people on the face of this whole fucking rock. We have endured more pain and more hardship that has been dealt to us from not just here in these United States, but all over the world, from the Italians, everybody, the French, the Portuguese. Everybody has come to Africa and exploited her people, exploited her customs and cultures. They've taken their innovations and named them as their own. It's time for us here, right now, to stand up to that, to take that leap, to say, listen, I'm not standing for it. I'm going to sit up. I'm going to figure out the best way I can to spread actual black history. Actual black history. I'm going to do whatever I can on whatever front, wherever I'm at, to spread actual black history. And I'm going to tell you what, fellas in the gangs, and your gangs out here, your little gang thug fuckers, I'm going to tell you what, this is more important than your gang, man. This shit right here is more important than your gang. This is your fucking lineage, bro. This is more important than these, 10 or 12, 14 or 15, 17 or 18, 2 or 300, 9 or 10,000 homies that you might have. This is more important than that. This is about all of you and yours and all of theirs and their lineage. Y'all brothers and sisters out here fighting in the streets like assholes. And that's, you motherfuckers is the ones we really need to come for. But I don't think we need to come for y'all like that. I think we need to come for y'all in a different way. And that way is we need to approach y'all with the information and the knowledge and the power that you need to recognize that we are all beautiful. And by pulling that trigger, when you kill another one, you're killing something that's beautiful. You're killing something that is unique. You are killing a piece of yourself. We are all unique, every single one of us. We are the most unique beings on the face of the earth. We are a paradox. And we're out here killing each other like it's no big deal. And it is, brother. It is, brother. We got to get back to treating our queens like queens. We got to get back to treating our kings like kings. We got to stop falling into their fashion even. Dressing like them, giving a fuck about what it is that they do. And completely do us. Now, I'm not saying, especially for like mixed kids. I have a couple of biracial children. This is what I'm saying about this. This is what I'm saying about that. Learn both sides of who you are. Be very conscious about both sides of who you are. It's something difficult to wrestle with, but it's something that you should definitely know. You should definitely know. You should definitely understand. It's definitely something that you should seek understanding in, because there's a long history. There's a long, long history, a long, real history behind this, behind the whole dynamic. There's a whole real history behind why you're even here. To all, like I'm saying, behind my biracial children, there's a lot of people in our history, black and white, believe it or not, who played a very pivotal part in our evolution in this country. And to just simply broad stroke over our experience in this country, our whole history in this country, as to being said as to that make any sense, but that we benefited from slavery because we use those skills to advance ourselves to today. That's preposterous. Well, first of all, and I think I'm going to say this, and I guess I'm going to call it a wrap. First of all, a lot of the things that we benefited from, we created ourselves. We made ourselves to benefit ourselves. Because do you think that we benefited from you? No, not at all. We did not benefit from you. To benefit from something would imply that we needed help. We didn't need your help. It would imply that we needed your help. We needed help and you provided help. But we didn't need your help. We created things to benefit ourselves. And what you did is you took credit for all of those things. And you made your fortunes, and you built your wealth, and you bought your homes and all your acreages. As I ride through these towns, sometimes I'm seeing 180 acres for sale. Man, how'd you get that? Whose family is that in? Makes you think, especially riding through the South. So I guess realistically, that's why lately I've been on this whole what's really up here kick where I just want to know. I just really want to know what really went down here. I want to know the actual history of what really went down here, because I know that soon I won't be able to get the actual and genuine history. I'm going to lose all the stories about my black heroes, the people who risked their lives and lost their lives and died. I'm going to lose all those stories because they're going to write them out of existence. That's been the Black Lives Don't Matter podcast. I'm Darren Harris. Thanks for joining me. And remember, Black lives don't matter. We know they don't matter, because if they did, we wouldn't need a movement now, would we? Peace.
This is the Black Lives Don't Matter podcast.